Just this one, sir.
Prime Minister, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, lovely to see you again. Oh, it's a great pleasure.
Anyway, no, I never know.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Ooh, the month is just spitting past, isn't it? We are, what day is it today? 16th. Oof. Just over a month. Sorry, yeah, over 2 weeks into October. Like, wow. Wow. I can't believe that it's almost time for our yearly roundup. It feels like I was only doing the yearly roundup yesterday. Like, whew, isn't that crazy? Time's flying. All right, welcome everyone. I don't think today's going to be too long. I only have a couple of updates, but just wanted to update you on what's been going on. Georgina, looking forward to the podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. Hi, Robert Collins. You're moving the wine bar over from Ivy's. Nice. It's like move the wine bar between everyone's podcasts. Make sure everyone has a glass. Hello, Florence. Hey, Karen M. Hey, Legs. Valerie. Hi, Ladybird. Hey, Benjamin. Audrey. Hello. Hi, Cat Harlem. You know, it's been a while, and I know that there's a lot of you who have come in and you've been commenting regularly, and I've been seeing your names. So if anyone new wants to get added as a mod, please put any animal emoji in the chat. And if I recognize your name and you comment often, then I will add you as a moderator if you want to be a mod. And thank you to all of the moderators who do a fantastic job out here on these YouTube streets, because we know that the trolls love to come in. All right. So let's get to the updates for today. So now, when the Queen passed away, people bought flowers to the palace. Now they slowly moved those flowers and other tributes over to the Green Park, which is right next to the palace, just to get them out of the way. Those flowers have now been cleared, as have everything else. And what they did was they took all of the Paddington Bear teddy bears that were left there. People were also leaving sandwiches for Paddington Bear instead of taking food to the food bank. But yeah, there were somewhere around 1,000 teddy bears that were left. Now, these have been given a good wash and will be donated to Barbados. Sorry, not Barbados, Barbados. Barbados does not need Paddington bears. They need for the Queen to be removed as the head of state. That's what they need. Oh gosh, you can tell that it's Sunday, right? My mind is somewhere else. The Paddington Bears will be donated to Barbados, which is a charity here in the UK, and that's fantastic. I used to use Barbados services because I have a disabled sister. What's not so fantastic is the fact that they are trying to attach Camilla to this, and this is just a continuation of the attempting to rewrite history about who Camilla is and the part that she played in Charles and Diana's affair. And she played a very active part in it. Okay, let's not ever try to erase that. She showed up to that wedding that day in white. She was more than willing to be Charles's side piece in his marriage. She was more than willing. She even tried to gaslight Diana and tried to cozy up to her and become friends. They wanted that sister wife situation, and Diana said no. Yeah, this was actually on the royal family's Twitter. They posted this out. And there's also now an official push to make Queen Consort Camilla, which is bad enough, into Queen Camilla. and now it's going to be the king and the queen. Listen, the general public is always going to have a name or two for Camilla, and it will definitely not be queen. And so they can try all they want to erase history, to boss around Netflix, an American company that can do whatever they want, to try to bully Harry into not speaking his truth. But let's just remind ourselves that we don't actually know what is going to be in Harry's book. We have no idea if he's going to mention Camilla at all. At all, we don't. He might not mention her at all. Certainly not in this book, because remember, he has a multi-book deal. And I have predicted from the very beginning that his book is not going to be full of bombshell revelations at all. I think that the firm and the palace are really getting ahead of themselves. I just don't think that it's going to be a bombshell book. Not this one anyway. Do I think he will write a bombshell book? I think he will. But I still have my bets on this not being a bombshell book. I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong. But they certainly have no evidence of what's going to be written in that book. So there have been a couple of stories that have come out with the kind of tone of, if Harry says anything negative about Camilla, he's not invited to the coronation. And to that I say, okay. I mean, I'm not invited to the coronation either, but I'm paying for it. So I don't know. I'm not in Harry's house to see him, but do I think Harry is crying at the idea of not being invited to the coronation? I doubt it. And if indeed he is going to say anything about Camilla or anything negative about Camilla in his book, he shouldn't have to mince his words. This is the woman who was involved in the torture of his mother. Why shouldn't he say anything? And as always, I think that if Harry was to say anything, if it would be coming from a place of just speaking his truth. I don't think he's going to say anything, deeply malicious. It's just going to be the truth. And you know what? The truth is ugly, and he has the right to speak the truth. And I think he will speak the truth if in the most gracious way possible, as him and Meghan did in the Oprah interview. They spoke their truth, but they were still very gracious. And actually, the way in which the firm goes on and the Palisades keep leaking to the press and the press keeps attacking them, over time, it's really just going to backfire on them. Because we know exactly what it is that Harry and Meghan said in that Oprah interview and what they have said since then. And that is always going to stand, no matter how much the press tries to twist things. Meghan has never said a bad word about the Queen. She's actually praised the Queen. Harry has always called the Queen his commander-in-chief. And he has always just criticised the firm for not taking the steps to protect Meghan. The press, rightly so, for their behaviour and their part in making the racist abuse towards Meghan worse, and the disappointment and hurt, as he rightly would feel, from their family members. And I don't think any of that is controversial. But of course, for the firm and the palace trying desperately to hang on to power, anything and everything is controversial. When actually, if they would just accept the truth and apologize, show some humility and humble themselves, that would be a hell of a lot better themselves. That would be a hell of a lot better for themselves than running around like headless chickens, throwing everything they can at the wall and hoping something sticks. It won't. This is the age of social media. There is a younger generation now, and the generation that I think matters the most to the survival of the monarchy can see straight through this. And with that, before I continue, I'll go to your comments. Welcome to everybody who's just joined the chat. Don't forget to thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Oh, I cannot believe we have paid for. You can hear the exhaustion in my voice. The exhaustion in my voice coming from the exhaustion in my taxpayer pockets. We have paid Jubbly. We have paid for a funeral, and now we are paying for a coronation. Christ. Jay, you've taken a break from cleaning to have a tea break. Lovely. Thank you for joining. Educate you, doctors. I love the newsletter. Which newsletter? I didn't send a Oh, I mean, I have a page if you want to sign up to the newsletter, but I haven't actually sent any newsletters yet. Been so busy, haven't had the moment to. Okay, a lot of you are saying, hey, hey, hey. Grace, brace yourself for the avalanche of vitriol against Harry and Meghan in the attempt to distract from the, yes, from the Lord P and his apprentice P. Andrew. God help us all. Yeah, and what does it say that all of this is coming out literally just after the Queen's passing? I'm going to get to that in a moment, but really just shows you that they really went to lengths to cover this up. Because this is going back, what, like 40, 50 years? No, light side of the moon. Is it your birthday? Wait, what? Somebody said light side of the moon. Happy birthday to you. Light side of the moon. It's not your birthday. For real? Girl, text me. I'm sending you that book. Mega. What are they thinking? Queen Camilla? Exactly. Benjamin, she is likely the reason Diana and Charles had no more kids. Chuckle might have had the daughter he wanted if he didn't ignore his wife. Yeah, maybe. But my gosh, it's interesting that Charles was so desperate for a daughter when he doesn't seem to treat any of the women in his life particularly well. But some men, had that weird complex, right? Where they're very protective and lovey-dovey of their daughters, I guess, because they see them as an extension of themselves, but don't particularly treat any of the other women in their lives very well. Are probably good on the daughter that he never had her. Julia, I hope he says all kinds of negative stuff so he's not invited. But like I always say, I believe that Harry would just speak his truth. That's all. And that truth may be ugly, but it's just the truth. Galloway girl, they are desperately trying to soften her image. I'm sorry, but Princess Diana would still be here today if Camilla had not been an adulterer. And Charles too. Prince Harry was beyond stoked to put up with her for so long. Exactly. I mean, the man has been more than patient and kind. Miss September, remember Finding Freedom? They made such a big deal out of it, and it was fluff on Sussex Squad podcast. Yeah, exactly. A lot of it was just stuff that was already in the public domain. Like there wasn't really anything bombshell in Finding Freedom. Oh, light side of the moon, you're driving. Okay. driving and listening. Oh, hi, Jay Bird. Welcome to the membership. Oh, it's your birthday, light side of the moon. Well, happy birthday to you. Round of applause for light side of the moon. Where's my applause special effects? Hope you're having a great birthday. Dolores, as far as Harry's book, the more noise they make, the more guilty they will look. What did you do to Prince Harry exactly? Because that's the question we're now all asking, right? All right. Let's get on to the next thing. Right, Ghislaine Maxwell, this witch, she was interviewed in prison. These news outlets have all the time to interview this woman in prison, but none of the time to campaign to have the authorities release the name of that. Right. But anyway, she was interviewed. She says that she feels bad for Andrew, and she basically painted herself and everyone involved in this scandal as a victim, as she would, of course. And she, do you know what? She looks mighty, well fed, and uh, healthy haired for someone who's in jail. She doesn't really look like she's suffering much in there. But this is what she said in her interview. Let me just grab it on my phone because it's a bit small to read it on the screen. Right. So she said, on Prince Andrew, I feel so bad for him. I follow what is happening to him. He's paying such a price for the association. I consider him a dear friend. I care about him. On dating Andrew, I have read and seen and heard and reported to me so many monstrous inaccuracies that I can't even start to pick apart all of them. If I pick apart one and don't address all the others, it's going to be, well, she said no to this. What about all these others? So I'm not going to discuss anything of that nature after the appeal. I'm going to be super happy to address with you any of those things. On that photo with Andrew and Virginia, she says, this photo is not real. There was never an original one produced. I don't even want to start talking about Virginia. I don't recognize that picture and I don't believe it is a real picture. On Jeffrey Epstein, I said in my court statement that meeting Epstein was the greatest mistake of my life, and obviously if I go back today, I would avoid meeting him and I would make different choices. So, she denies a lot of what she has been accused of, but she regrets meeting Epstein. So if you did nothing wrong and you had no negative associations with him or negative business dealings with him, then why do you regret meeting him? And you regret meeting him, but you met him over and over and over again. You spent time with him. You know, I'm someone who has a very good intuition, and I only have to be around you one or two times. And if I sense that you are that you're someone with a negative energy about you, like I'm gone. You know, it doesn't have to get to, it doesn't have to get to the point where I find out that you are a potential S offender for me to be gone. Just people with bad energy, like that is enough for me. So for her to say that, but be around this guy constantly, be around the young girls that he was with, she would have seen him with them, even if she's going to deny that she engaged inappropriately with any of these girls or yeah, there was anything inappropriate that happened between Epstein and these girls. Um, sorry, even if she's going to deny that she herself was involved in anything inappropriate, she would have perhaps seen inappropriate things that Epstein had done or said. So, I don't believe her when she says that. I think she was more than happy to be around Epstein as long as she was benefiting. Anyway, the interviewer then asked, "What about Donald Trump?" And she says, "We knew each other and mingled in some circles in New York, Palm Beach. I was very grateful when he wished me well after the arrest. He got bad media for it, but he dared while others didn't. I was honored he remembered me. Well, he's known to say what he thinks. It gave me a big boost." I mean, imagine feeling happy because Donald Trump gave you a compliment. On her appeal, the appeal gives me lots of strength because I am a very centered and very grounded person. It is a very, very, very strong appeal. On her evil reputation, all this is fictional. All this is a fictional version of me. It has been created to fit the storyline. It has absolutely nothing to do with who I am. I find it curious that so many people choose to contribute to the fake created version, sort of like a Disney character, the Wicked Witch, if you will. The real people who know me and love me have never spoken. Um, I gosh, okay, I kind of lost my trail of thought there. Um, the only part, okay, I've got my trail of thought back. The only part I kind of I guess would agree with her on that is that she's the only person in this other than Andrew, in this narrative that has been painted as evil. And she deserves that label. She deserves the label of evil, but so do everybody else who was involved with her who have not been named. And it's almost as if a lot of people who are involved in this ring have decided her and Andrew are going to be the poor people. So I believe that they have made her the fool person because they're all basically just hiding behind her. If the public can have one or two faces to be angry at, maybe they won't start questioning, well, who else was involved. And then the last point she made was on being relatable. I think there are many women who can identify with my story. Oh, child, please. Many have either fallen in love, oh, child, please, with or had relationships with men that in hindsight they look back on and say, what was I thinking? I imagine there's not a woman on the planet who would not think that about one or the other of their boyfriends. Well, I'm not going to disagree with her there, honey. Yeah, I've certainly kissed some frogs, but to the best of my knowledge, none of them were ex offenders. Yeah. So please don't try to compare yourself with other women in that manner. Okay. Most of us have never dealt with ex offenders who have private islands and hang around teenage girls. You are the extreme, girl. The extreme. Yeah, that's Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. Marilyn, I don't see Harry attending that coronation as having a positive effect on his mental health. I can never celebrate her position if I was Harry. She can never earn my respect. Yeah. And I think Harry and Meghan know at this point, it doesn't matter what they do, they will be criticized and they will be put under a microscope. So really, what does it matter if Harry doesn't go? They will throw a tantrum. Even if he does go, they will throw a tantrum. So you know what? Might as well stay away, go play some polo that day in Santa Barbara and not be bothered. And because, they're saying, "Oh, we're gonna slim down this, coronation." That could be just to throw people off. Maybe, they want to avoid attempting protests, and then on the day, it's gonna be the biggest darn parade you've ever seen. Um, Yawny, do you guys think that William will sabotage Charles? William, can't like Camilla, so I'm waiting on stories to come out by royal insiders. Um, I mean, I'm sure there's a Game of Thrones going on in that palace anyway, but William also has his own secrets and has to be careful. Chamber child please has never been more appropriate. Right? Ugh. Um, Rachel's son, many of the accusers say she was actively involved in their abuse. Exactly. Audrey, I know that her rich friends are putting money on her books. Yes. Yeah, like telling me, and how dare she compare herself with most women? And why does it seem these criminals have platforms to speak versus the victims? Yes. And more protection, it would seem, than the victims. That's what worries me the most. Ugh, anyway, on to the next thing. Yeah, the squad is getting shout out in the British press because we know that we are a thorn in their spines. This is either from the Times or the Telegraph. I think it's the Telegraph. There was an article that was titled "How the Culture War Could Affect the Coronation." From eco diamonds to air miles, there are plenty of reasons the king will tread carefully on his big day. And in the article, it says, when he was 4, Prince Charles watched his mother seamlessly blending maternal and monarchy duties, training himself up to wear the heavy St. Edward's crown for her 1953 coronation at Buckingham Palace. I remember my mama coming up when we were babed as children, wearing the crown. He recalled recently. It was quite funny practicing. And then it goes on to say, in an era of social media where an army of Republicans and Sussex super fans, the Sussex squad, as Jan Wooten would call us, Sussex squad, stand poised to pick apart the royal family's every move. The coronation of the king and Queen Camilla will be as fraught as any before them. On the other side will be traditionalists and historians at angst at too much caving to a modern world of wokery. What was an unremarkable at the last coronation will now be subject to scrutiny. Some worthwhile, some less so, casting eyes over oil, jewels, ivory, gas, transport, faith, and fur. Oh, I'm so sorry that we're questioning whether or not someone who waited 73 years for a job and sat in luxury for all of that time gets to now wear stolen jewels in a room gilded full of gold during a cost of living crisis when Lucy and Karen's grandmother is going to freeze like a popsicle in the winter. I am so sorry for being so damn woke, y'all. It's like it's like they're just so unapologetically, don't know what word to use. Um, like they just don't care about the fact that it's not all about your sparkling jewels and your sparkling crown. Like there are serious matters at hand here. And as long as they can live in this fairy tale of pomp and pageantry, reality can just get pushed to the side. And yes, it is partly social media and people speaking out that is, I guess, killing the fairy tale and making people focus on the reality. And what you're going to see at this coronation is um, what hundreds of years of taking from others and hoarding wealth for yourself looks like. That's what you're going to see. And yes, there will be everyone on social media scrutinizing every single last second. So I hope that they have a ballpoint pen ready for Charles if he has to sign anything. We don't want anyone's fountain pen leaking coronation. Lavender, hey everyone, Harry save your mental health. Do not attend the Carabating coronation. Uh, coronation where there might even be protests. I wouldn't want to go. I definitely wouldn't want to go. All right, on to the next thing. Right, this case with Lord Mountbatten. Now, Lord Mountbatten was Charles's mentor and great uncle, I believe, and there have long been accusations of assault of young boys as part of a sophisticated peering involving other aristocrats and politicians and notable and wealthy figures. And but sorry, for the first time, some of these accusations will actually be held in court. So this statement by one of the accusers and their lawyers was released today. I'll read it out. KRW law statement on Arthur Smith. We act on behalf of Arthur Smith, a survivor of historic institutional abuse in the late 1970s in East Belfast. Last month, we issued pre-action letters of claim against a number of institutions, including the Business Services Organisation, Belfast Health and Social Care Trust, Secretary of State, Chief Constable, PSNI, and the Department of Health alleging negligence and breach of duty of care in relation to Arthur's time spent in Cora and North Road Children's Home when he was a young boy. We have today filed a summons, which will issue in the High Court on Tuesday, the 8th, Tuesday, 18/10/2022. Central to the case are our client's allegations of abuse by the late Lord Louis Mountbatten. Speaking on the announcement of the legal action, Solicitor Kevin Winters of KRW Historic Abuse Redress Department said, I commend Arthur's resilience in taking this case and indeed his bravery in going public for the first time. Understandably, many abuse survivors, for reasons of obvious sensitivity, choose to remain anonymous. Arthur's decision to reveal his identity must be set against this backdrop. It is born out of anger at systematic state cover-up on abuse at these institutions. He alleges to have been abused twice as an 11-year-old at the deceased by the deceased royal. It's the first time that someone has stepped forward to take allegations against Lord Mountbatten into court. The decision hasn't been taken lightly. He understands only too well that it will be a deeply unpopular case with many people coming as it does within weeks of the passing of the Queen. However, litigation involving mental, physical, and abuse isn't undertaken to deliberately offend sensitivities. It's taken for many reasons, including exposing perpetrators and the institutions or other agencies which help suppress them. The recent PONI reports into Kincora, despite a welcome finding on police investigation failures, only scratches the surface of what went on. The announcement of this case couldn't be more timely. It has been an incredibly difficult journey for our client to reach this point in his life where he feels confident enough to make his case and to do so in a public forum. He and his family will require much needed support on the next stages of the legal battle for some form of justice, which to date has been denied to him. I wish him well, he deserves closure. And he does indeed. And to anyone who might be listening to this who is close to Mr. Arthur Smith and his family, let them know that those that believe in justice are sending prayers their way. And how horrible is it that he felt that he could not come forward and for fear of, offending royalists or, people who, oh, sorry, let me turn off my Bluetooth. Oh no. Oh no. Oh gosh, sorry guys. How long has that been choppy for? I just remembered that I've got to turn off my Bluetooth. Oh gosh, sorry. I hope that hasn't been too fluffy for too long. Is that better? Oh dear. Let me know. Wait, before I continue, let me know if that is any better than what it was. Oh dear. Is it a bit better now? Okay, let me check on the give me a sec. You're saying there is echo. Okay, you're saying that it's better. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Listen, don't worry. Once once I've left the UK, it's just because of where I am living at the moment, and this unfortunately for as long as I'm here, this is just the best it's gonna be with the sound of the internet. But once I move in January, it will go back to just having nice, crisp, stable internet. So I'm very sorry. Let's just bear with it for now because it's the best I've been able to do, like while I'm here. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just so sad that he felt like he couldn't say anything while the Queen was still alive, because I'm sure he's aware of the power that this institution yields and the way in which the Queen was often used as a shield. And can you blame him? Because there were so many times during the Virginia Guthrie case where they basically tried to paint her as the victim. So if you are a victim of someone, who's also connected to this family, and you're hearing all of that, how does that make you feel? That must be very, very scary. And to also realize that when you do take your case to court, it is Her Majesty's, or now it would be His Majesty's appointed judges. It's His Majesty's court system. So you're not just going up against um, you know, lawyers from another person's representatives. You're going up against a whole establishment, this individual and anybody else that wants to make their case be heard. And you have to wonder, what type of justice will he get? Are they going to allow this to play out, especially leading up to Charles's coronation, or are they going to try and silence him and just pay him off? That's what I think they'll probably try and do, just try and pay him off. And Mountbatten, his a boat was actually blown up, and obviously there was a lot going on politically between Britain and Ireland at the time. But you kind of wonder, like, was that action, was it just a political action, or was it, did it have anything to do with this? Like, were those people very much aware of what this guy was doing, and the people connected to him, what they were doing? So it's all happening. We're only like what, a month out from Betty's passing, and already this. What else is there to come? Oof, it's gonna be a long year. Um, yeah, and Lewis, the Royals have many skeletons, many, many skeletons. Jessica, oh, I heard many years ago about Lord Mountbatten being a P. I saw a documentary from a young male victim as well. Yeah, didn't the FBI had a file? Had a file on him, right? Sonia, Duchess, what is the state of the new Prime Minister? Liz, what's her name? I think she's like gone into hiding or something. Although it was Prime Minister's Question Time. Was that Prime Minister's Question Time? I didn't watch it. Um, yeah, I really don't know what's going on with her. We're waiting on whether or not she outlasts a lettuce. There's a live feed of her picture next to a lettuce going by the Daily Star, and I think she's appointed Jeremy Hunt as the new chancellor. But to be honest with you, I just think it's gonna go from one mess to another. They're probably gonna have to re-elect another Tory prime minister. So it will go. I don't think they'll call for a snap election. I think they will just try and put another Tory prime minister, and it could be Rishi. I don't know. Really a mess out here on this island. Anyway, um, yeah. Omid is saying the quiet parts out loud. I love this version of Omid. I want to see more of this from Omid. So there was a article that said Prince William's anger as the crown profits from the pain of Diana in the BBC interview, and Omid tweeted, "And the outlets they work with haven't." Yes, these outlets, by the way, the Daily Mail. Wait, where's the picture? Right. So there's William and Kate and Camilla with Jonathan Rothermere of the Daily Mail. But let's be honest, almost every red top in the United Kingdom, in one way or another, benefited from Diana or profited from Diana, big time. More profits from any royal other than Meghan. Right? Meghan is, she's the one that came in and made them more money than they'd ever made since the Diana years, which is why they can't stop talking about her. So I don't know. Well, I know why they're going after Netflix and The Crown, because it's going to erase the 25 years of PR that they've tried to do for Camilla. Um, but this is just pure nonsense from William, who called his mother paranoid, who broke an NDA to help the tabloids to try and ruin Meghan's case. So this is the same guy who gives access to the tabloids in order to hide his own skeletons, who sold his children to the Daily Mail so that they could do a Kate Cuties 2020 calendar. That freaks me out. even to this day. The calendar of the royal children, and they called it Kate's Cuties. Kate's Cuties 2022. Everything about that is creepy to me. I don't know who would want a calendar of royal children, a whole calendar. Creepy as hell, but that's what the Cambridge parents decided to do to the Cambridge children. To sell them before they even can consent to taking part in this media circus. So William can be as angry as he wants. As far as I'm concerned, the Crown aren't doing anything other than dramatizing the truth, albeit with their own creative spin, but it is largely the truth, right? I think we can all acknowledge that, yes, uh, these shows do take liberties, but the overriding arch is based in the truth. And they are terrified of the fact that there are many who maybe don't understand the depth of what went on in the Diana years. The younger generation that have maybe not too privy to it will get an education, and everything will be brought back up to the surface again after 25 years. So yeah, that's why they are really going hard with the anti-Netflix propaganda. But Netflix is such a huge machine now that they can't stop it. And The Crown is one of the most popular shows on Netflix. It's like Squid Games, The Crown. They're like in the top 10, easy, top 5 maybe even. We also have the body language experts out and about. You know what I find interesting about the body language experts is that they only ever have bad things to say about Harry and Meghan's body language, but anything that Harry or Meghan does is bad when they do it, but it's lovely when Kate and William do it. And I don't know why the people who read these tabloids don't stop and think how weird it is that a married couple who should naturally be showing love to each other anyway need all of this PR spin to convince readers that they want to be viewed as a strong and very loving team. Well, if you are a strong and loving team, it shows naturally. It shows very naturally between Harry and Meghan. We don't need article after. I mean, I did a screen print when I googled Kate and William body language, and literally all these articles, and that was just the first page. So methinks they protest a little bit too much. Yeah, Palace PR in overdrive with this. I believe that they want to say the quiet parts out loud, but they are holding back because ain't nobody out here wants to get sued. But unfortunately, um, the time is going to come when the truth will come out. I also think one of the reasons why we're being bombarded with stories like this is because they want to literally convince people that they're not seeing what we can all see when it comes to this couple. And it's sad. It's sad that William has basically followed in the footsteps of his father, that he could not do better for himself and his children. But this is the choice that he's made, whereas Harry chose freedom. But this is, I guess, this is what happens when you're more interested in um keeping your position of power than actually living your truth. And he's forever going to be trapped in this institution and in this life until he's brave enough to just tell his truth. Because you know what's crazy about all of this, and something that really annoys me, and it just speaks to how much grace and favor that men in privileged positions like William are given, is that if he came out and did a whole sob story, you know, PR interview about how he's so sorry and he's sorry to Harry and Meghan, and these are all the mistakes that I've made, and this is my truth, and I want to be a changed man. I want to make the royal institution more progressive and did the whole Swan song. Do you know a good portion of the British public would probably forgive him? That's the crazy thing. Because when you consider how much scandal has already and is coming out, and it's not like anybody is particularly outraged now. So, um, my advice to William and to Catherine, speak your truth and humble yourself and be sincere, or when the tabloids are ready to turn on you, they will humble you themselves, and it's not going to be pretty. And with that, I am done for today. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to our new members for joining, everybody that supports, everybody that tunes in and listens. We've got some good things to look forward to, guys and dolls. Got Harry's book, got the Kennedy Awards. We're still waiting for Megan's variety cover, more archetype episodes. The Megan is apparently meant to be getting a GQ award, but I don't know if she'll actually show up in the UK for that. So lots of amazing things to look forward to, everyone. So let's not get too bogged down by the drama. And I shall end with your comments, and we'll call it a day. Lavender, there are rules for the peasants and none for the ruling class. Yes, yes, the royal family cult, the unroyal mafia, indeed. Wendy Lohman, Netflix, they are complaining, please. The royal reporters are the biggest profiteers of the royals name dropping. Yes. Legs, I think that hypocrisy is lost on the royals. Tampon literally makes people throw away eggs. Oh yeah, I saw that. They use private jets, trains, and helicopters, and they are environmentalists. Rules for thee, none for me. Yes, rules for thee, none for me, indeed. Benjamin, and I agree. They have created a license. However, it's based on facts. Yes. And what's even more crazy is that I will absolutely maintain that the last season of The Crown, it actually humanized Charles. I really believe that it did. I don't think it actually showed just how bad and nasty the whole situation between Charles, Diana, and Camilla was, and how Diana was just tortured. I actually thought that there were parts of that season that humanized Charles. So I really don't even know what it is that they're complaining about. There's nothing that's going to be in The Crown that um, is not public knowledge. Bradwell, it looks like they're trying hard in the photos. I disagree with that. It looks like Kate is trying hard in the photos. Doesn't look like William's trying hard at all. V Mooncat just did a podcast debunking body language. Yes, I saw the YouTube thumbnail for that, but I haven't actually watched it. So I'm gonna watch it and then I'll give you my feedback because I does she not mention Harry and Meghan at one point? Yeah, she's awesome and she did a really good video on the horrible way in which Meghan has been treated. Actually, she's awesome. Light side, unfortunately for them, we are not buying it. Nope. You can see these two just don't have that in their marriage. Well, we're not buying it because we're out here on these royal streets. Unfortunately, a hell of a lot of people are buying it. When I suggested maybe 3 years ago now, going back 3 years, a group of my friends, this was like before I was even officially part of the squad, that William was running through the rose bushes, their reaction was just shock, horror, and disgust that I would even suggest that William would be running through the rose bushes. They were like, "No, William would never do that, and Catherine is amazing, and she's perfect, it's a fairy tale." So not everybody buys not everybody can see the truth. A lot of people are still buying into the fairy tale. I was even at an event, um, about a week or so ago, and I was talking to this girl from Brazil, and even she was like, "Oh, but you know the fairy tale, and people come to the UK to see the royals." Like, no, people mostly actually I think come to the UK because they're sold the idea of London, right? They wanna visit London, and which is still very much considered like the world's capital. That's why most tourists come here. They don't specifically come here to see the royals. Like, it's just the royals are just like a bauble for most tourists. And actually, that day that I was at Buckingham Palace, a lot of the tourists that I saw had suitcases. So my guess is that there's a lot of people, it's just something they do when they've got a few hours to kill. Well, let me go down to Buckingham Palace because actually I have a slide on this. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So these are the top tourist destinations of 2019. You have to go all the way down to number 22 to get to Windsor Castle. So more people travel a little bit further out to go to Windsor Castle than they do to Central to see Buckingham Palace, which is at number 67. Kensington Palace, 76. So the idea that it's the royals that bring tourism to the UK is just wrong. It's just wrong. Um, you can't really even apply that to any other country that has royals. I went to, I don't know, Denmark. Yeah, I did go and visit some of the castles, but I'm not interested in the royal family of Denmark. Not up until the grandmother recently started acting like um, Maleficent. People go to Rome. Yeah, they visit the Colosseum. There hasn't been a lion fight in the Colosseum for centuries. People still go and visit. So you could get rid of the royals and just keep the castles, and people would still visit. You don't actually need the royals to be there. Right. Back to your comment. Yes, thank you everyone for joining the chat. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everyone. Audrey, look at season 5. Before season 6, it will make it very, very special. Yes. And I'm so glad that they decided to cut the Diana years into 2. So we have more room to explore the Diana years. Sylvia Duchess, one of your videos popped up on my timeline from a year ago when you were Marco Sparkle. You look beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I posted a video of um I reposted a video that I did a year ago when I talked about my funny encounter with the Daily Fail. So that's on the community tab. I think it's the last thing I posted before I posted about the Lord Mountbatten case. So you can go watch it. And it's just a small illustration of how easy it is to create fake news. Um, and it's quite scary. I mean, in my case, it was all a little bit of fun. It wasn't anything too serious, but it just shows how easy it is to create fake news. So go check out that video 'cause it's quite funny. But in that situation, it was just funny. But the tabloids, if they want to, they can really ruin your life. Give me a sec. There was a video that I wanted to share with you. Official Lauren Brown sent me a video where she talks about Megan and her love of the squad. So I'm gonna share that with you, and I think it's set to premiere in 18 hours. So let me put it in the chat, and then if you want to go and watch that, you can go and watch that. Um, she made some very good points in the Friday chat, and I wanted to give her video a shout out. So go check that out, and yeah, subscribe to her channel. Seems like she's got a very interesting channel going. But that's the videos. That video specifically It's about her thoughts about Meghan and the squad. So go support her, please. Quattro Queen, they got damn good looking actors for Charles and Camilla. Yeah. The guy who played Charles was like, he was too handsome. Legs, I thought it humanized tampon too. However, they would prefer if people don't know at all. I guess they're going to close the comment section as soon as it begins. Yeah. uh, Rachel's son, my best friend is English and wants me to go with her next year to visit relatives. I am conflicted. She's white and I'm not. Well, it. I mean, what are her relatives like? Um, why don't you just have an honest conversation with your friend and tell her what your fears are? Because if it's to visit relatives, well, if her relatives are very welcoming people, then it's not going to be a problem. And there's still a lot of nice things to explore in England. So don't let the noise of the tabloids and the derangers let you know put you off visiting the United Kingdom and England in general. Because certainly as a tourist, or if you're just like a visitor, you will likely be treated well. So don't be conflicted. There's a lot of great things to do and see in England still. Literally, the only reason I would tell you not to visit is because it's just so darn expensive. That's all. If you're pinching the pennies, probably not a good choice. Otherwise, there's a lot to see and do. So don't be put off, please. Rita, when you go to London, you don't see the royals. Buckingham Palace is open. The royals are not there. So what is she saying? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can't even no, you can't actually see Buckingham Palace. You can see it from the outside. Most of the time anyway. I think they have like some open days, but you can only see it from the outside. Um, whereas when you do go to Denmark or some of these other countries on mainland Europe, you can actually go into the palaces. Like Christiansborg Palace, which is one of the biggest in Denmark, you can actually go inside. Rita, I visited Windsor and St George's Chapel because of Harry and Meghan. Yeah, so you went because of Harry and Meghan. I've, I've lived in the UK all my life. I've actually never been to Windsor or St George's Chapel, FYI. I haven't even been to Kensington Palace. I've walked outside of Kensington Palace, never been inside. Patricia, when I visited Kensington Palace, it was because Diana lived there, not because of anyone living there at the time. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined the chat. All right, who's gonna get the last word of the day? Wendy, the point is cheap compared to dollar. Americans get more of the money now. Yeah, now actually, yeah. No, thank you for correcting me. Now you would. Now you would. Maybe not before. But even then, it is still more expensive than in comparison to other cities in Europe, even if the dollar is a bit stronger at the moment. Coach Queen, this next season of The Crown is going to be juicy. Indeed, it will be. All right, Church Nelly, I'm going to leave you the last word of the day. Have a great weekend. Awesome moochies. Yes, let's dance our way out. Thank you as always, everyone. And yes, I'm sorry. One thing I forgot to say. A lot of you are saying, "Oh, am I leaving the UK?" Yes, I am. I've mentioned it a few times. Um, I am actually revamping my travel channel. I haven't posted anything on there literally since the pandemic. And the last time I posted, I was in Thailand. So if you want to follow my journey, basically leaving the UK, finding a home somewhere else, doing some vagabonding and digital nomading. If you want advice on nomading, moving countries, and all of that stuff, that's all going to be there as well. So once that channel is set up, will let you know. And if you want to follow my journey, away from this podcast, like basically more of my personal life, then you'll be welcome to view that on my other channel once it's all up and running again. But yes, I am leaving the UK. More on that on another day, but for today, let's dance our way out. And thank you so much, everybody, once again. Ciao.
Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. Up this time. Up this time. Up, 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 I've never ever given up this time. Never given up this time. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. I've never ever given up this time. Never given up this time. Never given up this time. Never given up this time. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. I've 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 never ever given up.
I just had a look. Is it September the 12th?
13, sir.
Oh God, I'm the wrong date. 13?
Yes, sir.
You sound 12:30.
Wait, no, the 12th. I'm something 10. Oh God, I hate this.
No, look, it's going everywhere. Hang on. Has anybody got a shop?
Where's the man?
No, look, it's everywhere.
Can't bear this bloody thing. What do they do? Everyone's stinking.